Welcome to Displacer Geeks. My name is Brian.
And I'm Hudson, and we're two geeks talking about the geek. You know what I've been doing this week, Brian?
What?
Remaking old characters into the new 2024 D&D rules.
Nice. Hudson, can I share a secret with you?
What's that?
I did know that you were doing that. Yes. I did know.
You did know? Okay, you just all right.
But
All
for
right,
the
cool, cool, cool.
video, I acted like I didn't know.
You goofball.
So here we go. D&D 1 or the new D&D. You converted some
Yeah.
characters. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
converted several of them, right? Including a couple that I know I played with you. So that's fun.
Yeah. Hey,
Now,
here you go. Here
first
you
off,
go.
quick question. Did you find that it was easy to just sit and convert? Because I know a lot of people are probably stressed out about that.
I just rebuilt from the ground up.
Yeah, it almost seems like the way to go, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're gonna start out with an oldie but a goodie, Merc, who was the
nice.
highest level. Also, he was probably the most direct, like one for one of the three that I did. Yeah, so Merc was a character I played in our first podcast, our season one podcast. He was a mercenary that went by Merc for short. It was actually a moniker. His real name is Lucius, and he had to settle some scores.
There's a picture of him too that I drew years back.
Yeah,
And look, he
yep,
got a
yep,
scar across his face
yep,
because he's BA.
yep.
So, what level did you end Merc at in the campaign? What level were we at? Do you remember?
I do. I had the original. I actually have the
Yeah, you
original
got
one.
there.
We could actually like it would be probably too small, but we could actually do like a side by side comparison. The original Merc was 11 fighter, battle master, five paladin, oath of vengeance. Those both existed almost identically as they did in 2014 and the 2024. So that's why I was saying
Nice.
he was like the most like direct one for one version.
Yeah, and look at those hit points. I do remember Merc. I mean, you did talk about it every time we play, but Merc had a lot of hit points.
Yeah, this Merc actually has less hit points. This Merc, I just used fixed hit points. I wasn't going to waste my time rolling a bunch of hit dice.
Gotcha.
Um, and this is you can see the name says Merc 2024, right? This is the new version. The old Merc, what the way we were rolling hit points was you would roll your hit dice, and if you liked it, you kept it. If you didn't like it, you would have the DM rolled. It worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah,
So
and it tends to give you more hit points doing it that way.
it
We kind
did, it
of, but
did. The old Merc had a lower constitution and more hit points.
jeez, yeah, that the way we did it, and we kind of still do it today, it adds quite a bit of hit points. So
Yeah,
maybe next campaign we'll rethink it, but
I mean it's fun, but
it
I
is
think
fun.
sometimes like the more I play, sometimes I'm like, we should just do this and don't do X, right?
Yeah, like
But
stick with the actual rules and don't tweak anything.
yeah,
Yeah, or you might end up wacky like these two. There's Merc
yeah,
again. With my old character, Lucan.
Lucan, yeah,
They're drinking apple juice.
yeah, apple
Yeah,
juice,
yeah, apple juice. Yep.
apple juice, yep.
All right. So,
That night did
how
not
was
go well for Merc.
uh how was the experience? Tell us what you found out. So, go for it.
So, some things changed, right? Obviously. So we'll start with like some of the obvious things, right? Like there's now weapon masteries. The old Merc did have a pistol. So the new one I did slap a pistol on there. He was actually much better with the javelin than he ever was with the pistol, which was just a funny, happy coincidence. I don't know if you noticed that, but like every time he picked up a javelin, because he never had any on him, he always found them. And every time he found one and threw one, he hit. And one time Lucan challenged him to a javelin throwing contest. If I recall correctly, you had the magical javelin and it like
Mm-hmm.
you turned it into the lightning and you're like, yeah, look, I threw it further than you did. And I was just like, whatever. But then when we threw it for real, I actually beat you.
All right, so back on this. What are some big things you wanted to highlight here?
So one of the first thing is spells were a little different because he was a partial paladin, right? Uh, the big thing was the smites. It used to be a class feature. It is now a spell, right? It is a bonus action, 2d8. You get it once a turn. That's it. Cut off. The old Merc was relying on being able to do 3 attacks and being able to divine smite on all 3 of those.
While
So
while this guy
that
was divine smiting every attack, we were hitting things pretty hard.
yeah. And then what I do like though is some of the other smites, like Syrian Smite, are more alive.
Oh,
I
that's
think.
good. No,
Yeah.
that's cool. I like that they decided to maybe make it more of a resource management. Like, okay, well, all these are pretty good. What should I do?
Right.
That's
So
fun.
I picked up Syrian Smite on this version because he followed the god of fire, and I was like, Syrian Smite does fire damage, so that kind of made sense to me.
Yeah.
Um, everybody gets fine steed now. The paladins just get it. Another cool thing is in addition to your spell slots, you have one extra divine smite. Like just
That's cool.
a lot of the spells transferred over, pretty much one for one. Other than like the divine smite, and then inventory obviously didn't track over very well because no magic items apparently in the player's handbook.
That's
So
funny.
let's go to some features and traits, right? Okay, so species traits, right? You gain an origin feat of your choice. Linguist wasn't an option. The linguist feat was such a keystone in the original Merc story, and it was just not an
Oh,
option.
funny.
And I was just like, oh no. Pretty important, pretty important. Little minor tweak that you wouldn't think about, just gone. Things were interesting in that campaign. Uh, he had a twin sister, and they used to write like secret notes back and forth to each other so they could like hide messages. And that later led into some other things going on with some cryptology. I think that's the right word. Ciphers, like doing ciphers and whatnot to find more information. So that was interesting that that cornerstone of background was in that feat is just gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was able to pick up the tough feat, which the original Merc did actually also have. And then I was able to get the gnomish and the dwarvish again pretty easily. So, and then some other class features. Second win got a little better.
Did it really?
Yeah. Instead of having 1 charge, you get 4 charges and you get the 1 use when you do a short rest.
Interesting.
Okay. So
I did
second one's
not.
just better.
Yeah, I did not catch that.
Okay. Action surge. No, it doesn't let you do the extra magic, which is funny, but okay. You can use the features 1 time until you finish a short or long rest. Tactical mind. This was a new feature. When you fail an ability check, you can spend a use of second one, and instead of gaining HP, you roll a D10 and add the result to the ability check, which is really important that you have 4 of them now.
Oh, yeah, true. I like how they do that.
Yep. And if the check still fails, the second one isn't expended. So pretty risk free. You can always just be like, well, I'm gonna try if it's important.
True.
The combat superiority combat superiority
You
dice
still got it wrong. Do it again. Do it again.
combat superiority
Yeah.
dice. Wow. Just they're basically the same. And then I got the same, was able to pick up the same skills off of that as I did the last time.
Okay.
And I think I took different ones, but that was just because I didn't immediately remember which ones. And you can swap them out, so it wasn't that big a deal. And then I did pick up Great Weapon Master, which I think if we click on this doesn't tell me anything. Cool. I believe that's different.
So now your
It's not a
character
one.
says Great Weapon Master.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um, oh, the great weapon fighting style that he picked up. It was anytime you rolled a one or a two, you did a reroll, or you could reroll it. This one says if it's a one or a two, you can choose to make it a three.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I don't hate that.
No, I don't hate that.
And then Channel Divinity is still there. It does the same thing. Oh, here's something I picked up. Instead of the linguist, I was able to pick up heavy armor master,
Okay.
which is gives you a lot better survivability as a fighter, especially in the new edition. See if this one actually no doesn't load. Doesn't tell you what the things do. Cool.
It's so new, it's not in there.
So new, it's not in there.
This is sponsored by
God,
D&D Beyond.
that
It's
is
not.
so
It's not.
so
Maybe
so in
someday
there.
they'll sponsor us.
Yeah, right. And this faithful steed, you can always prepare it. You can cast it once per long rest. So, like the divine smite, you can summon a
Okay.
steed, which have been really cool for you, I think.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So now, if we kind of swap over, if we want, do you want to look at the old Merc real quick?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's see what do we have. All right. So here we go. So one of the things we're going to immediately notice is there is some items on here that are actually magical items. Wow. But here was one of the things we were talking about. Like this Merc has a lower Constitution score, but it had a higher max HP.
Six more.
Six more. Apparently, I was able to pick up defensive weapon style with the Paladin on this Merc, which was something that didn't happen on the new Merc. So
Okay.
he had a slightly higher AC for all the good it did him. And then we see a lot of the same things. No divine sense, no abjure enemy, no abjure enemy. We didn't see those things. The lay on hands. Paladin should still have lay on hands, right?
You
I
would
didn't
think
see that on.
so.
Oh, yeah, it's still there
Is the lay on hands the same?
as an action. Okay, so the new one's a bonus action, and then you can also do 5 HP to either cure a disease, neutralize a poison affecting the creature. Um, This one's worded a little more clearly. You can also expend 5 HP from the pool of healing to remove poison condition from the creature. Those hit points don't also restore HP of the creature. So they're just very clear. Like if you're spending 5 and you can remove poison.
Gotcha.
Okay. No disease on the new one.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
okay.
You notice, are your skills all about the same level? Because I would imagine that didn't change, honestly. But
The
just
new Merc
curious.
is actually has a higher strength. So but pretty close.
So a higher strength, but the skills and all that all look about the same.
Oh, the old Merc never got a history. So new Merc had athletics at a 10, right? And then had history and then no insight.
Oh, so
They both had intimidation. The new Merc had a better charisma. This is
oh,
crazy. New Merc had 3 stats that were better and 1 stat that was worse.
oh, okay. All right.
So strength going across the top, right, or the scores were 20, 10, 17, 8, 12, and 14. And then if you look here, it's 8, 10, 14, 10, 12, 13.
Gotcha.
Right. And that 10 was largely due to the linguist feat. And then intimidation, perception. Perception was the same. We picked up persuasion somewhere on the new Merc. Uh
I
no
don't see
religion. No religion on the new Merc.
weird.
Strictly worse.
Was that an
And
accident, or you just couldn't find a bonus to give him?
I don't think it was on accident. I just don't think the thing that happened to allow this Merc to have that happened on the old one. I could have just picked the wrong skill. Like I picked survival. Maybe I should have picked one of these other
I
skills
gotcha.
instead.
Okay,
Right.
I gotcha.
Uh, so it could be some of it's probably a little bit of error. Some of it was just some options just weren't as available. So it's been kind of
Gotcha.
interesting.
Yeah,
So these this character I feel was, despite having that like cornerstone story piece been missing, we're pretty much the same, to be honest. Right. Like
so if
I
if you were to play with Merc again and you did D&D 1 or the new D&D, you feel like the play experience wouldn't be much different at all.
no,
Yeah,
no.
interesting. Okay.
So those both existed like original player's handbook.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that was really cool.
Awesome.
One real quick, I just remember the abdominal feature for fighters got a huge upgrade.
Oh, okay.
It is you get to re-roll the save plus your fighter levels now. So, and you get it at the ninth level. So when you re-roll a save, you re-roll the save plus nine.
Jeez. Wow.
Right. Whereas before it was just a straight re-roll. So
That's pretty crazy.
that is pretty crazy. It
That's
is a
super crazy.
pretty high level. It is once per long
Yeah.
rest. Like it is limited,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it really lives up to its name.
It's cool when the ability matches like the role and the feel of everything.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right.
So how about now that we went through Merc and you played him up to a high level, how about just for fun, we play the you disappeared on me. Oh no. Oh wait, you reappeared and you're bigger.
I know. All these
Look at
buttons.
that
It could
handsome dude right there.
Oh, yeah. Why are you looking at
Two
yourself?
two handsome dudes. Tell you what. So, why don't
Oh,
we go through and talk about character you're playing now, who happened to just level up as of a couple days ago. It'll be our third campaign on our podcast, anyways. We have a podcast called D4 on the Floor. It's a storytelling podcast that we tell stories through RPGs. And our second and third campaign are like super edited, lots of sound effects, music, and stuff like that. It's super fun. But as of this video, the third podcast isn't released yet. We're still recording and editing. But
right.
you have a character that is definitely different than Merc, but he is definitely somebody that relies on his blades. Belmont, the halfling.
So I got the Belmont, the Halfling 2024. So this is the new version. So he's a Halfling. He is level 3 rogue and fighter 3. So on this version, there's a couple of big differences. And the first one is the choices for the played version didn't exist in the new 2024 rules.
Yeah, so you're having a completely different experience with this little
Yeah,
conversion or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I did try to start out the same way, right? So previously I started out, I weren't like level 1 rogue, level 1 fighter. So I tried doing kind of that same concept just to make sure like the multi-classing worked the same.
Why don't you maybe describe the way you feel like Belmont's style of play is currently, and then we could talk about if you made him with the other rules and just swapped characters, like how different it would be. So like how does the character play now?
I feel like he's like a fighter, but he's like kind of like cagey and has like a lot of skills outside of just being a fighter.
Yeah, I can see that.
And he does have those other skills. And I always kind of viewed him as the story has never been expressly stated, but like he was a brigand. Like he was the guy that would go outside of Vantor and like raid caravans,
Okay.
right? And he got tired of that life and he left. And that's when he ran into the current heroes. But he was out there kind of like in a more soldiery thing, even though he had been doing some thievery inside the city. That's kind of the concept. So this version of Belmont, I think it's just straight up criminal. Like you play him as a criminal who tries to be kind of like stealthy and sneaky, and then when that doesn't work, he will just punch you out.
So
Right?
plays very differently.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay. This is a picture of Belmont, one of the pictures anyways.
Yep. And the new Belmont, I had to choose a different background for starters. That background I chose was in fact criminal, and then the
Okay.
other thing was he took the thief subclass, and then he took the battle master fighter subclass.
Okay.
Those were some pretty really big changes, and I think it does. It changes kind of the dynamic of like how he just operates. Like he is I, I think this version of him is more of a rogue that comes out at you like a mad raccoon when he gets cornered,
Gotcha. Okay.
right?
How do the stats compare and skills compare and hit points and AC, just out of curiosity?
AC is worse on the new Belmont.
All right.
The hit points are about the same actually.
Nice.
And then the stats were actually virtually they are identical. Like I was able to match those one for one. The skills I wasn't able to do a one for one. So like you don't see any investigation on this guy. We see deception. Again, we're going back to like he's an actual criminal. And pretty good perception and really good sleight of hand. And then some other just kind of generally useful skills. We're gonna stop sharing. And then we're gonna share. And then we're gonna go to the current version. So the current version I'm playing is Rogue 3, Inquisitive, Fighter 3, Samurai. It's a really good build. I have something to do every turn with a bonus action, and it's ridiculous. It's like to the point I have almost too many things I can do with bonus actions. Like, what
Nice.
is the right call in this moment? I to the point where it's a little bit hard to like make sure you're doing the right thing. Much better insight on this guy. uh, and that is largely due to like being an inquisitive. It's very important that he has a good insight, and the same thing with the perception. He has to have a very good perception, but we don't have him. He's not a liar necessarily in
Gotcha.
this
Yeah.
example. Like, right, going back to like he's a fighter that has additional skills outside of being just a fighter,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? We just go down the list. He's a little bit persuasive. He has some knowledge and skills, and then he has some general like stealth and survival skills are just kind of useful. And then obviously like the features and traits are going to be wildly different because different subclasses. Yeah. And then the hit points were slightly higher, but again, that goes back to our style of rolling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Our little house rule that we do for fun, and
4 points
definitely.
is not a whole lot, I don't think.
Yeah, that's nothing crazy, but
Yeah. So those are just kind of the differences. Like you
yeah.
can see how some classes or like some builds you're going to be able to just like now currently do an almost a one for one with just like the updated rules. And then you get to see like how some builds are just like you're almost like a brand new character.
Yeah. So really, if you are playing with a group right now and you're dying to like try out the new rules, talk with your game master and say, "Hey, can I remake my character up to the level we're at?" Or maybe if your campaign is like getting kind of close to the end, just wait it out, finish it, and then make new characters into the new system.
Yeah.
Um, I think we've talked before about DMing where actually just communicating with your DM and your players all the time is really beneficial. And people can make adjustments with anything they want as long as everybody's on board with it. So Like we even talked about potentially letting you do Belmont completely different in the new campaign, but I think you had said it's just way too different, and I appreciate that because I wouldn't want our story, especially on the podcast, to like drastically switch, you know.
Hmm.
So, but if it was almost a one for one, I wouldn't care, you know. So
Yeah.
again, you don't want to disrupt your story if you don't have to, but also it's just a game, so if people are cool with it, then they're cool with it. So it's just kind of up to the people, really. The way I look at it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it too.
So real quick before we go, did you think the was the experience fun just sitting there doing it? I haven't done it yet with my stuff, but did you like the experience overall?
Yeah, it was really kind of challenging to make some of the characters like a more of a as one for one as possible, and I was a
Mm-hmm.
little surprised how hard it was.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think the rules had changed that much, but it was very challenging in some cases.
One other quick question before we go. Have you been having fun creating characters in the new system?
I've just been redoing like old characters at this point.
Oh, all right. All right.
I haven't
Nice.
really. I think I don't want to do too many like new characters because um I just don't want like I can't. I don't have anywhere to play them right now.
Yeah. No, I hear you. You're just kind of waiting, and I like that you're
Yeah,
going back and doing all the old. That's interesting. I should do that with Giovanni for sure. That'd be fun. Yeah. Awesome.
should
Awesome.
probably do it with Lacan to see how
Oh
wildly
yeah.
different he
Well, I
is.
bet he is wildly different.
And the thing is, it's kind of crazy about like both these characters were multi-class characters.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be curious to see like if we took
Just a
like a just a
straight big.
more just a straight one for one. Like if we did, I guess Lucan would be a good example. Like just do
Yeah.
like
He
Lucan.
was so classic paladin, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah. Awesome. Well, with that being said, we appreciate your time and we really hope that you enjoyed the episode. Please like and subscribe, get notified so you can keep watching, and you'll see us every week. Thank you.
yeah. All right. You have a good rest of your day.